Hello, everybody. Dr. Powerthirst here, and I want to give my opinions, reactions, hot takes to the announcement of the server merge. The announcement is listed here. This is for Hero Wars on the web, and it was announced that they will be merging right here the fifth and the second server together. And players in both of them in about a week and a half, they'll have about an hour of downtime, and afterward, both servers will then become one. They have some goodies for us right after the merge takes place, and then they're going to have, it looks like a 1 times 4 sale and times 3 emerald sale as well. So I wanted to give my opinion on this because this will affect me. So this is my account, and we can see that I play exclusively on server 2. I've got one other account on server 4, but I log into it maybe every 8 weeks just to collect some artifact coins and then come off. So almost all of my playtime is happening on server 2. The reaction from most people, at least most people who are being vocal about it, hasn't exactly been positive. So I wanted to go over what I see are some pros and cons from someone who is going to be experiencing this in about a week. So I want to start with the pros because there are definitely some upsides to this. And first and foremost, that is more competition and less stagnation within Arena, Grand Arena, and the Guild Wars themselves. And this is more exciting for players, particularly if you're a heavier spending player and you might be getting bored with coming into the same positions in Gold or Silver League day or week in, week out. In addition to that, we'll also have a fresher pool of recruits for the active guilds. What's happened on server 2 is that as the server gets older, the more active players tend to migrate up from, say, silver guilds into gold guilds, and that serves as a bit of a recruiting pool, or they just stay with the silver guild that they were in before. But that's been getting a lot harder as time goes by, and we tend to reach out to different servers to try to attract players, say, from server 17 or server 25 who might be interested in a different level of competition. And there's also going to be the guilds that are coming in themselves. So most of our silver guilds will have somewhere between 26 and 30 players. So if some of the guilds end up falling apart in the move, they have places to go. And alternatively, if say a server 5 guild or guild person has been looking to change guilds, they're going to have a bigger pool to choose from. And then finally, there is the opportunity to socialize with more players. And you can do this without making a new account and spending more money on an extra account. Social experience tends to be what keeps players playing, particularly those who are free to play or much lighter spenders. That doesn't mean there are downsides to this. Those are things that I'm particularly looking forward to. I'm personally excited over the change, but there are definitely reasons to be hesitant, and I think those are unique for certain servers uniquely. So first is that server 5 is younger, and it is going to be paired with an older server that is server 2. So I'm not sure the difference in age between them. I know that server 5 started up somewhere around late January, early February. It might be towards mid-February, but more towards the beginning of the year. And when I started playing, late September of 2019, I was put into server 2. Because it was, I think, the newest server at the time. So usually when you switch servers, you don't allow an older account to switch to a newer server because that is unfair. So instead of looking at it as server 5 migrating completely into server 2, you can instead look at it as server 2 unfairly migrating into server 5. And this is definitely going to have an impact on the amount of resources that server 2 players will have over those of server 5, just based on the ages of the servers themselves. Second, the lighter spenders on server 2 and server 5 are the ones who are going to be the most affected. If you are free to play, or let's say you're spending less than $20, $30 a month, then you're gaining your main advantage through your consistency, through your day in, day out play. And you quite literally outlast players who might have spent a ton of money up front, stuck with the game for about 4 or 5 months, and then dropped off. And so you've been rewarded for your consistency, and those lighter spenders are about to enter an environment with a bunch more players, and that advantage relative to their server is going to have disappeared. And that's for lighter spenders. That's not a thing to really look forward to. Some of the guilds in the weekly guild wars, they will be locked out of gold or silver, and I think for all servers, you obtain your position and maintain your position through consistency of your performance. And so if you've worked very hard to get to, say, the middle of Silver League, and you'll have a new Silver League entering your server, and you might not maintain your high position anymore, you might actually go to Bronze League, that's very disheartening, and I think that's going to cause a number of players to leave. This is also going to cause some more opportunistic guilds to start kicking out some of their players. They might be free-to-play players or lighter spenders who have a place because there's fewer people to choose from and they contribute. But when you have a much larger pool of players to choose from, and they might get solicited from someone who has much more powerful teams and can help them in Guild War, there is incentive there for the guild masters or the officers generals to kick out players who will not bring that level of activity. I've seen this several times, say when top performing guilds have broken down on my server, or when there's been merges of other guilds as well. So that definitely happens, and I would expect to see that happen. For most players, I think that their arena and their Grand Arena rankings, those are going to be going down. And for lighter spenders, again, they might be dependent on these rewards to bolster their income of emeralds. And obviously, we're 3 weeks since the previous ×4 sale, and I still have 77,000 emeralds, so that isn't going to be a problem for me specifically. But 7 months ago, this would have read about 12,000, and so I was quite literally earning 120 emeralds a day and then spending 150, and I'm going to expect that income to go down for other players. And then finally, this would be the last on the cons list, and the last thing that I want to mention is that no one really wanted this, and that no one really asked for it. It's something that has been thrust upon us. And change can be good, change can be scary, but change is often controversial, especially when you have not made that decision for yourself. And so I think a lot of the reactions and some of the drama we're seeing on the Discords are related to that. So that's what I have to say about the pros and the cons. I do want to give a little bit of commentary on the Server 2 guilds and what I expect to be seeing from the Guild Wars. So myself, I'm in the second place gold guild, and I'm not expecting us to be knocked out of gold entirely. I think our position is going to change, but I don't think it's going to change by that much. The number 1 guild in the server war, they are head and shoulders above most of the other guilds. There was a merging of the heaviest spending from a lot of other guilds back in, I think it was February or late January, and this guild was formed and it's been dominant ever since. And then below that, I'll check out the previous week here. The scores are pretty close between 2nd and 5th, and I think there are some advantages of some teams over another. They're similarly performing, and when we place higher than, say, like when my guild, the Oncoming Storm, places above Eidolons, it's never more than, say, a couple hundred points. So we're still fairly close. It is still fairly competitive. If there's a big mistake on one side, it can entirely shift the result of the week. And so the 2nd through 4th position, 2nd through 5th position are all fairly close in that respect. And so there's going to be a lot of competition for the gold spots. And then finally, we have Space Pirates here on the bottom. And in the Silver League, Dark Templar was a long-time Gold League member itself. And so out of these so there's a total of 7 guilds that are, I think, Gold League caliber. And how I would define that is having multiple Titan teams that are above 600,000 total power, and higher level totems to go along with that, along with having a very well-balanced and high-powered cadre of champions to fight the guild wars. So immediately below those 7, I would place Band of the Red Hand and Crusaders, because each of them have a single player who has, I believe, above 700,000 Titan power that they're able to put on their bridge. And otherwise, they're still fairly well balanced, but they don't have that extra firepower to really kick them up into Gold League contention. But their efforts, their consistent efforts from week to week are, I think, have really been paying off for them. And then finally, we have the 4th position through, I think let's call it 9th position here in Silver League. And these are guilds that do not have a very strong champion to stick on the bridge. But they also have well-balanced teams of active players. It's just that these active players aren't necessarily spending as much money as those who might be in the gold guilds. Now, this doesn't mean that all the gold guild players are spending a ton of money. I'm spending about the same that I spent when I was in Wolverines, and I only switched about 3 months ago. But there are these guilds are the home of the players who have been putting in that consistent daily effort without opening up their credit cards or their PayPals as often. And then finally, we have Berserker on the bottom, and this guild is. It's consistently fending off the challengers from Bronze Guild. There are a number of active Bronze Guilds below this, but this is where you start to see a huge stratification. And I think they're going to have difficulty staying in Silver League when the guild or when the servers merge. And this might cause a number of their free-to-play players or lighter spenders to leave the game entirely. The same thing could probably be said about a number of these Silver Guilds, particularly those who are, probably 6th through 10th. They're going to have some competition now to stay in silver, and this is going to have some interesting and unpredictable effects. So we'll just have to see how this shakes out. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say in this video. We're gonna see how things work out, see how people react to it, and it's gonna be fairly interesting to observe for the next few weeks. I might cut another one of these videos after the dust has settled and see if some of the concerns that players have been having or some of the concerns that I noted have come to fruition, or if there's just a ton of upside, or if it just seemed like the company was trying to get the more active players to spend more money. We'll find out.